Welcome to our I Am Workshop Conversation Series, a transformative journey designed to inspire self-discovery and ignite your creative spirit. With your hosts, Anna Maria Davalos, Maria Lanes, and Maclovia Martel. Please comment,
like,
and subscribe.
The embodied soul known as Tanesha Ross is a licensed and board-certified neurologic music therapist, Broadway and American Idol veteran, and the director and executive partner of Singing for Seniors Music Therapy Services. Tanesha, welcome to I Am Conversations. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for asking me to be here.
welcome, Tanesha.
I've been enjoying the past episodes.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Yes.
So my first question, what transformative experience has changed you into who you are today?
Ooh. Wow. I feel like there's a series of them.
Mhm.
But I would say my first really, so a lot of people call it a spiritual awakening. I call it a spiritual remembering.
Mhm.
And I grew up very rough. It was really, really bad. But I remember being 5 and just being like, nope, this is not for me. And actually that life was the most transformative for me. Because I think it triggered my remembering the most of anything that has ever opened my eyes or opened me to the fact that I'm a spirit in a human body. That also helped me through a lot of forgiveness of the people in my life, the elders in my life that were broken, lost, and didn't, provide the safety and nurturing environment that I deserved. So, yeah.
From 5, Tanesha. So what did you do?
Honestly, I threw myself into school in any way I could. Like I just remember from a very young age just being like, how early can I get here? How late can I stay? Like, I can do this program. Great, let's do it. I can be a library helper and come first. Yes, let's go.
You want to make yourself busy, so you tried everything.
I tried everything. Well, and I was just like, there's got to be more than what this is over here. And so anything that looked better, I was like, I want to see what that is. But one of the things that I also remember, because I decided to go to church when I was 9. It wasn't, my mom didn't go to church. It wasn't a thing. But there was a van that went through my neighborhood called First Assembly of God, or it said First Assembly of God on the side, and it just was full of kids, right? And I was like, who's this God everybody keeps talking about? Who is that? I want to have a conversation with them. And so I flagged down this van, and this woman Gwen was driving it, and I was like, can I go where you guys are going? And she was like, I mean, you have to ask your mom, right? So she comes in with me, and I'm like, Mom, can I go to church? Right. So I started going on this church van every week, and just kind of threw myself into that too. So I was like school and church, and I was in youth group, and I was helping out in the daycare, and yeah, it was just like as many things as possible.
And what did you leave home?
When did I leave home?
Yeah.
So officially I left home at 18, but I actually left one time when I was 16. We were 5 people in a 2-bedroom apartment. I was in high school. I was losing my mind. And I actually ended up living with my pastor and his wife for a little bit. And then I ended up moving back in with my mom because she was being evicted again. But they were going to maybe get new housing, but all of the kids had to come home in order for that to happen. So I moved back in so that my siblings would have a roof over their head.
So this process, do you think it made you stronger or the person you are right now? Going through all this?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And yeah, and stronger, I like I said, I think more just it just helped me remember, right? Remember
Mm.
that I'm more than this flesh.
Mm.
And
You had an awareness.
yeah, that
Mhm.
awareness just kept growing more and more, and then led me to more and more really great experiences. And you know it was really interesting because of course anybody who's lived in that life, the gang life, that kind of the hood, when you get out, people always like, oh, you think you're better than us, and you know all this kind of stuff. But really, how I used to see that is just, I would used to, as a kid, imagine myself being an angel that was flying away, and all these things trying to grab my tail and grab my wings and hitch a ride.
Ah.
Wow,
And
amazing.
and I and I was always like, I can help you get your own wings, but you can't ride mine.
Mm.
Like I
Mhm.
can help you remember that you've got them, right?
Mhm.
They're there, right? You just
Use them.
yeah, you just gotta remember they're there and then exercise them, right? Yeah.
Would you consider yourself, I know you went to church, but do you consider yourself more spiritual than you are religious, or is a mix?
Yeah, definitely not religious. Although I guess I could say my religion is love.
Mm,
Um,
mm. It's
but
beautiful. Hmm.
yeah. But I'm actually interested in all sorts of different ways of looking at that universal energy, which is what I think it is. I think it's energy that every
Hmm.
culture has just interpreted it in their own way.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And it's all the one energy, right? I mean, this is why it's always come down to we are all one, right?
Yeah,
We are not a
Yeah.
collective.
drop in the ocean, we're in the ocean in a drop,
Hmm.
that kind of thing.
And music is energy.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Tell us about the music in your life. How did that evolve?
Yeah.
My mom said I came out singing, not crying.
Love it.
You're like, oh,
Like
Give
this.
me some milk.
yeah,
So,
I'm here.
McLove is also a singer, so you should.
I'm not
amazing.
that good. Mhm.
Yeah, honestly, singing was one of the paths that got me out too. I would sing all the time. Actually, this is a really funny story. When I was around 5 or 6 again, but this time I had gone to church with an aunt or something. It was really a random thing. I didn't go regularly with her, but all the kids were outside playing tag, and I was singing like a virgin. Because I just liked this. I just liked Madonna,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know? I didn't know what I was singing about, but I got in trouble. I got in trouble. You're not
In
supposed
the
to sing that
church,
here
yeah.
at church, right? I
Yeah.
was like, but Virgin Mary, come on. I'm like a virgin. I'm like
Yes.
33, right? Like this is my like interpretation
I've
of
heard
who
the word
wrote it.
virgin before in church. Fine.
Hello. I don't understand what's going on here. But then they were like, okay, you can't do that. But also, do you want to join the choir?
Oh,
I
great. So you
love
got an
it.
offer.
I had an
I,
offer right away.
Hmm.
Yeah. So then, yeah, so I started singing in church, and then it was just sort of, opportunities would just present themselves. We did our first musical at the high school, and so I was the lead in that, and it was just sort of like, okay, just sing all the time. I was in jazz choirs and like competition choirs and all that kind of stuff. Um, but I didn't really like, it wasn't like I must sing, it's
Hmm.
like I feel like a lot of performers are like, I must do this thing. And it was just kind of like, oh, people just keep telling me I'm good at this and that I should go over here and do it. And I'm like, okay.
I mean,
Sounds
you were
good.
just flowing. I mean, that's how manifesting appears. I mean, you just flow with it. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
something you need. It's something that it's
Yeah,
inside of you.
correct.
Love it.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, just a lot of singing my whole life, and did it professionally for 25 years, which is amazing. I mean, I guess I still technically do it professionally, but just performed full time, for
Mm-hmm.
years.
You were on
And
the American Idol?
yes, I was. And that's actually an interesting manifesting story because when I was young again, probably before 10, Star Search was on, and
Mhm.
was always like, I want to do that. That sounds great. Right. So I went to my mom one day and I was like, I want to be on Star Search. And my mom was like, I don't know how to make that happen. Right. So I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So in my 20s, I actually, when I was 16, I started working for a bank. And so I worked at a bank all the way through college. But I was in my 20s and I was working at this bank. And a boyfriend of mine at the time called me and he was like, hey, uh, they're on Cube 93, the radio station, they're having this contest where if you call in and you sing, then you will like bypass the line of this thing called American Idol. And I was like, okay.
Wow.
So I literally went to the back break room at the bank, like a wall,
Yeah.
like a
It was,
wall
there was
phone.
no internet at that time,
There
right?
was
So
no
you had to go
internet,
directly. Yeah.
correct.
That's
And it was a wall phone, right?
mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I mean, cell phones were barely a thing.
Yeah.
So I like pick up the wall phone and I'm like singing in the back break room at the bank on the radio and I won.
Oh,
So
Wow.
wow.
yeah, and so then I just basically went right in front of the producers instead of standing in line and then from there just went.
And who was there back then? Who were the
So
judges?
it was Simon, of course, Cowell, Paula Abdul, and Randy Jackson.
Wow.
Hmm.
Who did you connect with more?
Maybe Randy. I don't know. It was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting. I would say I didn't really connect with any of them because they were all personalities, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and I, again, I wasn't somebody who was like, I need to be famous. I must, blah. I was just like, oh, look, I'm here. Great. You know? Um, and I was also like, I think more mature than a lot of the other contestants and more observant
Yeah.
because I had a real job. And so like, it was interesting because there were these huge placards everywhere that were like, we can portray you however we want. And like, I would just kind of take notice of these little things. And I was like, oh, okay.
We buy
Interesting.
your soul.
Yeah.
That's what you read, right?
Correct. Right.
How old were you,
Own your
Tanisha?
soul.
20 something at
Yeah,
that time?
I was 24.
24. Okay, I didn't hear that part. Yeah.
At that age, you just want to be famous. It doesn't matter. Who cares if they own your soul?
Correct. Correct.
I'm famous.
I'm famous,
I'm
right? And it
famous.
was
Yeah.
interesting because I was watching a lot of people just put on the show,
Mhm.
Right.
right? Let's
Yeah.
go. And so it was a really interesting ride for me because as I was noticing these things, I like wanted it less and less. Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, I'm here, so I'll do it. But like, I kind of don't think I
Mhm.
want this.
They were not making you happy. You were not fulfilled by this.
No, well, it was very clear to me that it wasn't really about the singing, although there was a lot of talent. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
so much talent in one room, right? I mean,
Mhm.
just some of the best singers you've ever heard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and but it's just interesting for me because I've always, maybe it's because I sang in choirs and all kinds of things, right? I wasn't like, it was nice to have the solo or whatever, but I wasn't like, I must.
Tanisha has arrived.
Mhm.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
Look
yeah,
at me.
exactly. Like I didn't have that energy from a desperation place.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Because I
Mhm.
think it's okay for people to be like, look what I've done.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This really beautiful thing that
You
I
wanted to be more
barely.
fulfilled.
I did.
Yeah, in your heart, and
Yeah.
the faint. You grew up you were an adult at 5 probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had this awareness, I think, that like an old soul, you have this old soul
Yeah. You
vibe.
have lived through a lot.
Yeah, you've been through a lot, so you knew.
It's true.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so,
And Mhm.
yeah.
No, and then then what happened from American Idol?
Yeah. So after American Idol, actually, Randy was like, you should move to LA. And I was like, okay. So I did. And I was only there for about a year, a little over a year. I literally bought a car and drove it away.
You what?
I bought a car and like drove it off the lot and left.
Oh my God.
Like, I'm out. Um, yeah, so I did that, and then I just found myself like getting invited to do musicals. So I was like getting invites for auditions for musicals, and so yeah, I did music, and then I just all of a sudden was doing musicals, and that was like the thing.
Uh-huh.
Um, and that was fine for a while. But after a while, I was just again, I was kind of running into the same feeling of like not really being fulfilled. Um, and my spiritual practice has always been a part of my life, and I was doing all of these different things for healing modalities and meditation and all this stuff. And so the more that I was coming into my remembering, I just was like, yeah, I don't think that this is actually what I want to be doing. I feel like I'm doing things that other people want me to be doing.
Yeah. It was not your calling, not your purpose.
No. And
Mm-hmm.
then I remembered in a meditation that I had said around the age of 5 that I wanted to be a singing doctor.
Huh.
And
Wow.
yeah, and I was living in New York on Broadway and meditating every day, and a red-tailed hawk followed me home.
Wow.
Mm.
I went to the park to do my walk, and I walked into Riverside Park, and there was this big tree that was like right when you entered the park, and there was a hawk that was just like I could have touched it. It was so close. And I literally was like, "Oh, hi, Mr. or Mrs. Hawk. Like,
Yeah.
can I take your
Like
picture?"
normal.
Yeah, exactly. Can I take your picture? And which hawk are you? And it turned around to show me its tail. And it let me take pictures of all this. So I have like this beautiful
Wow.
montage of photos. So it turns around, it's like, I'm a red-tailed hawk. And I was like, awesome. Thank you so much. And then I went about my day. I was gone about 2 hours, and I get back to my apartment, and I'm in the kitchen, and I could just feel these eyes on me.
Oh my God.
And I looked out, and the hawk was sitting on the other part of the building, just looking at me like this.
Oh my.
I was like, oh, hey, hi, you followed me for 2 hours and went to my house? Whoa, right? So of course I looked up hawk medicine, and it was all about red-tailed hawks in particular help you get on mission.
Wow.
Yeah. And I had just started volunteering with an arts organization that put on camps for underprivileged youth all around the world. And so I was like, oh yeah, I love doing this. I wonder if there's a way for me to like make money and do this instead of Broadway stuff. And that's what led me to the music therapy path.
I love it. I love it. I
That's a
mean,
great story.
especially the part that it was flowing. I mean, you were not like crazy for it, and you were just, it was like it was meant, right? I mean, it was easy. The doors were opening to you. I
And the
mean,
signs.
But
the signs, yeah.
well, it was interesting too because like I feel like a lot of I've always been kind of a flow person. I'm always like, all right, universe, where you want me to go next, right?
Uh-huh.
And I always have just trusted that everything will work out. So like a lot of people, when I say I've lived in New York, they go, oh, that must have been so hard. I was like, not for me. Like I had a 3-bedroom rent controlled apartment that was completely renovated 3 blocks from the 1 train. I got a Broadway show within 6 months of living there. I mean, like it just was
Wow.
like,
It was,
Everything was falling into the place.
right. And
You
so,
didn't stress about it. Yeah.
no.
no, I mean, of course, there's always moments, right?
Hmm.
But because of my spiritual practices, I could always snap out of it. Like, especially if I felt myself getting, pulled into the world of like, I was like, oh, I don't really like that energy.
Hmm.
And
Uh-huh.
I'd be like, nope, tap it out. Like,
I
like,
do that.
I love it. I
Just
love
kidding.
it.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because it's
But you can give a workshop in manifesting because it's she did. I mean, we've heard so much and we've interviewed so many people in manifesting, but you're spot on. I mean, it's something that just came to you. I mean, you were just trusting.
Hmm.
You were not
You
asking
embodied
the
it.
universe, I need it, I want it, or you were not in desperation for money or getting out. I mean, it was you just followed your path and it came to you.
Were you sort of like, what's my next adventure?
Yeah. I mean, it
Yeah.
was very Bashar, like follow your bliss kind of thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and even my job at the hospital, that was like, because when I started looking into music therapy, I was like, oh, I gotta go back to school. Okay. Right. Like I was like, I don't know about that. But so then I was like, maybe sound therapy, but I really knew that I wanted to be in a medical setting. And so I was like, yep, sound therapy is not going to get me there. So fine, I'll just bite the bullet and go back to school and I'll just deal with the, you know,
Mm-hmm.
financial parts. It'll be fine. It'll work out. And it's amazing because I had graduated in 2017. I applied in 2018 with the full knowledge that I was a baby music therapist, right? Like I was like, I don't really have a whole lot of experience, but or music therapy experience. I had a lot of other experiences, and even with kids, right? I had taught childhood classes and done all kinds of stuff. But I didn't even get a call. Like I didn't even get like a call, right? I didn't even get the interview. It was like fine. But again, I just let it go. I was like, all right, universe wants something else for me, wants me to do something else. And so I did a bunch of other things, music therapy related. And then at the end of 2021, my now supervisor reached out to me and said, hey, did you still want to work here? Like, do you want to apply to work at the hospital? And I was like, maybe. I don't know. Because there was a big thing that had happened that was newsworthy that I was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to work there. But then I decided, okay, I think I need to work there. And so yeah, that worked out. And then here's the other part, just like manifesting stuff. I got all of my loans forgiven.
Wow.
I was one of
How did that happen?
I was one of the people that got the loan forgiveness. So remember how in the Bible,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think it was because I had still had some loans from when I was in my undergrad,
Right.
Uh-huh.
right? So that plus this new
Yeah,
like
that was Biden's era, right?
Biden's era.
2021. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
and it was crazy because I was like, okay, I think I'm going to get some of that forgiven. Like I feel like I fall in the like, you know, category of that. But I didn't think it was going to be a zero. Like I thought it was going to be like 10,000 or something like that.
Right.
So one night I'm like trying to sleep and I just can't sleep. And like it was like check your email. And I'm like at 3 in the morning.
Everything happens at 3 in the morning. Yeah.
Right. Everything happens at 3 in the morning.
Like, did
Yeah.
you feel like checking it? Did you have a
Yes, it was like you have to check your email. And I was like, okay, but I'm not gonna go back to sleep, right? So like open my email and it's just like, your loans have been forgiven.
Wow.
And I was like, what?
yeah.
Now you couldn't sleep.
So I'm like, is this real? So I'm like, I go in and I go on the platform and I'm like, and it says, you owe $0.
Oh my God.
And I was like, what? What?
That's fantastic. I mean,
That's incredible.
yeah.
And do you know if there were a lot of other people that were forgiving the loans, or you were just one of the percentage there?
I actually know like one or two other people.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot more than I think people think. But clearly not as much as they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the opposite party did not agree with this plan, and so they were only able to forgive a fraction of what they wanted to. But
Right.
Another question. This is kind of a personal question. Are you married, Tanisha?
I'm
You have a
not
family? You're single.
thinking.
I'm free to do whatever you want.
I can do whatever. I'm dating.
Ah,
Dating.
love
That's
it.
excellent. No, but
Uh-huh.
I love it. So then you got into the hospital and you started doing your music therapies.
Yeah.
And how did that, I mean, your wish got fulfilled, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty wild. I mean, every day as I'm walking up to that campus, I'm just so grateful. I literally always say thank you. I just like look up and I just go, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Gratefulness is the highest energy, right? I mean, just
it is. Yeah. Yeah. Just appreciating, what I've been given. And so, yeah, I mean, of course, there's times that it's hard and it's a huge institution with a lot of personalities,
Yeah, I can
you
imagine.
know? But it's also been really beautiful because we've really been able to sort of redirect the perception of the arts and the music therapy fields.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times people are like, oh, you're a music therapist. Like, what is that? You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Well,
huge.
You're the artsy
It's
person,
actually
right?
very huge.
it's
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking to a gentleman, Forrest Green, who's they called the healer's healer,
Yes.
and he uses music therapy. It's a vibration, it's a frequency,
Yeah.
and so is
Yeah.
color. Color is also a vibration.
Absolutely.
So he he uses this to heal people, and it's especially with children in a hospital, that is the perfect setting. That is like the perfect, you know, thing for you to be doing.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
that's how you met Lolly? You met Lolly through the therapist, the art and music?
Yeah, but we actually met when I was working, so before the hospital. And this is
Uh-huh.
again where I feel like, sure, some of the issue was maybe my lack of working at a hospital, but also
Mm-hmm.
I think that the universe, like there are people that the universe needs to bring together. And if
Yeah.
I had worked at the hospital in 2018, I don't think I would have met Lily.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So I was working for a nonprofit, and
Mm-hmm.
we interviewed Nicole Stott, and then I did a project with her. And then, yeah, that's basically how I met Lolly, was through Space for Art.
And
yeah,
you saw the film.
I
of
did.
Because
course.
McLovia was the director of the
Yes.
film
Yes,
director. Yeah,
that's how
you
we
know
met in
everything.
Seattle.
Okay. Oh, that. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
we
I
all
thought you
did.
only knew Lolly. So the three of
No,
you
no.
were in Seattle together. Okay, now
Correct.
I get it.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah, tell us. I love the stories that we, talk about all the time, but I think this is a
Uh-huh.
good time to share of the
Yeah.
transformation of the kids when you work with them
Mhm.
and what music does to them when they are in the process of, going through their own healing.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love to hear that.
It's all very unique. Every single story is unique. Um, and I see myself as a facilitator of space. Um, and and then I sort of go into partnership, right,
Mm-hmm.
with the person that I'm working with.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and this is how even, there'll be like a little baby that's, they call it neuroirritable. So their brains are just, there's too much going on and they just cry incessantly. Like they just, if they're awake, they're crying, right?
Mm.
And so they have to use a lot of drugs often to keep them calm or something like that. And so I'll get a lot of consults for these babies. And a lot of medical professionals, they're trying to treat the body. So they're like, I'm treating the brain, or whatever. And I'm like, I'm looking for the baby's soul. And so I was working with this baby for the first time and he was tracking me. And the nurse was doing some cares over here and she goes, he's never tracked any of
Anybody.
us. Right. And I was like, yeah, because I reached a different part of him that you're not looking for that part. You're
Mm-mm.
you guys are doing some really great work and that's beautiful. Keep doing that. And there's this other part, right? Um, and so that's one. Another one is he was about 4 and he had cerebral palsy. And they have all these equipment, things to use for kids. And there's this thing called a stander. And the stander is to help correct their legs, right? And it's super painful, right?
I can imagine.
And so they're wanting this kid to be in this thing and they can get him maybe in it for like 30 seconds and he's just losing it. And so they asked me to come in and I brought in my keyboard. Bring in a lot of instruments, but he
Mm.
was particular to the keyboard. So we get him in it and he just like the whole time he was just in into the keyboard and I'm just jamming with him. We're making stuff up. They get him in the stander and we start just wheeling around the hospital. He's in it for 43 minutes.
Wow. Wow. So it can be a pain reliever also, music, right?
Yes. Yep.
Amazing. Because it such a high frequency, it starts healing the body at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
And it, yeah, it's doing several things at once. It's providing a distraction, so a subcortical distraction. A lot of times pain is like a little bit of a perception, right? It's like, it's kind of like a paper cut, right? Sometimes
Mhm.
you don't notice that you had the paper cut until you notice you have it,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden it hurts,
Mhm.
right? But you had it for a while.
Mhm.
You're like, when did I get that paper cut,
Mhm.
right? Um,
Mhm.
and so it provides that, but then it also actually like induces our pain relieving response.
Mhm.
And I've even had I've had kids that, when I first get in the room, they're asking for pain meds. And by the time the, nurse comes back with it, they're like, I'm okay. I'm good. I don't need it now. Right.
Wow.
Um, and then there's other, there's sometimes like anxiety. So there was a girl who needed to get a catheter in her heart. And she was not gonna do it. And she's like 10. So like there's no, you can't just like, I mean, you can kind of make her, but like,
No.
yeah, right. It's better if you go willingly. So I was called in and we processed her anxiety. And then I said, what if we write a song about, I don't know, what do you want to write about? She goes, about I'm a warrior. I was like, ooh. So we took one of her favorite songs because it's just easier for them to kind of remember a melody they know. And we just rewrote the words together about how she was a warrior. And then she sang that while she got the catheter in her heart.
Wow.
And I remember when I went to see her afterward, she said to me, you made me want to get better.
Oh my God.
Talk about fulfilling.
Yeah. And I said, well,
Right.
you did. I said, you did that. I said, you did
Mhm.
that. But thank you,
And
Yeah,
this is
you
a
must.
lot more fulfilling than performing on stage for you,
No.
definitely.
It is. It really is.
You must have many, many stories of healing. Yeah. Yeah.
And even with adults, I mean, I realized I was doing this work even before school. I was doing a show in Oregon and there was a woman that I was getting massages from, and she'd come to see my show because it was a very small town. And she goes, hey, I've always wanted to sing. Would you be willing to give me voice lessons? I'll trade you massage. And I was like, well, I'm getting the better deal out of this. Yeah, definitely. Right. So we started working together and, ultimately she had been told to shut up her whole life and all this stuff. And so she was just afraid of her voice. And so we worked through all of that and she ended up like joining some choirs and like doing all kinds of singing out in the community and
It's the chakra opening, right? Yeah.
correct. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That happens to me. I think I'm a good singer and everybody else has a bad taste because they always shut me up.
I love that. That's exactly what you
I
should
mean,
say.
I think I sing really good, and every time I start singing, it's like, okay, shut up.
Why did
But it's
everybody
not my
leave the
problem.
room?
It's
Oh
their
no,
problem.
that is their problem. Oh, I
Yeah.
wish I wish every single person in the world thought that way because, you know, the arts, music, that is our birth, it's our birthright,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And, we've created this hierarchical system where it's like, oh no, you're a singer and you're good at that. So you should do that and I shouldn't do that. That's like saying,
Hmm.
okay, well, I'm not like an astrophysicist or a mathematician, but if I wanted to sit down and do some long division right now, I can if I choose
Yeah.
to, right? Um, and so, we would make music together in our tribes, in our communities, like we sang together. And it's actually, they've done studies. It actually is healing. It boosts your immune system and
Mhm.
Yeah.
creates more kindness. Like it's just, it's so healing to
Yeah,
see.
it's like dancing. I did Sevillana dancing and a little bit of flamenco dancing, and it was amazing. In the worst stress of my life, I mean, just learning and moving, must be the same. I mean, it's music, right? It's
Yeah.
And
Well,
you're moving energy,
yeah,
right?
it's a form of meditation
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
when
As
you're
well.
creating anything. We talked about this before, but when you're a writer or if you're an artist, a painter, or when you're creating music, you're in a state of meditation.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
You forget time.
Well, my mom, she had breast cancer and they had to do radiation. So why she loved to sing. So when she was doing the radiation treatments, she would sing with a doctor.
Mm.
And she never got burnt.
Mm.
Huh.
She never had any lesion or anything. Her skin was perfect after her treatment.
Uh-huh.
So she used to say it's because, I used to sing.
Mm.
So
So
yeah, it's allowing your voice to come out.
I
yeah.
love it. I love it. We should think of a workshop with Tanisha, the workshops we
We
do
have.
with the Berkman, the mindset, and can you imagine music, art, healing?
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yes.
So are you
Yes.
there now? Is that what you're doing? You're at the hospital.
Yeah, I'm currently at the hospital 4 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
And then I run the business with the seniors.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and but it's funny because I was saying to Lily that I really see this sort of the next phase of my life moving into doing workshops and things.
Wow.
And
Oh
so
Here,
yeah.
the three of us. We're working on that. Yeah.
And you must get the same response from the seniors as
Yeah.
far as
oh man,
yeah.
my
Mm-hmm.
heart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, seriously, it's really good. And part of the project that Lolly and I are working on, I want to do an intergenerational component because we're not doing right by our seniors. We're just
Mm-hmm.
there's too much of a divide. We've again like this hierarchical system and this separation, you
Mm-hmm.
know, not really separate, but this illusion of separation we've created, right? We're just putting our older adults in these homes and like
Yeah.
forgetting about them. And it's a travesty.
Mm-hmm.
It's not okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's something that's also needs to be healed for humanity.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
because we again and it's and I understand where it came from because as we isolated more and more, right, the burden of taking care of an older adult that isn't well anymore in their mind, that's a lot of burden on a family. But we used to take care of everybody, like it was a community effort.
Right.
It's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing with childcare, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
take care of everybody. It was everybody's kid. It was everybody's grandma,
Mhm.
right? We all took care of each other. And the more we've isolated, that burden starts to fall on just a few people, and then they get overwhelmed and depressed and all of that. And then they just go, okay, you're going over here now, so I can like live
Live.
my life and live my
Mm-hmm.
life, right? Um, and so yeah, and so having, what's really good about the music therapy too is it actually is an invitation, right, for these families to come and have positive interactions again
Mm.
with their family members because they often will go and they're angry and they're confused, and then that makes them not want to come back to see them because it wasn't a good visit, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
a tough
Mm-hmm.
visit. But we're seeing with a lot of the music therapy things like, there was this woman who came up to me after a session and she was just bawling, and she goes, "You gave me my husband back for an hour." Literally before this he was yelling and throwing things at people and didn't know where he was and didn't know who I was, and he was saying my name and we were dancing together and like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Amazing.
I think it's a question of self-care that we
Mm-hmm.
need to include this kind of things into our daily practice.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Not at the end to just put like a huge injection of music, or art
Right.
and
Absolutely.
overdose, right?
Exactly. Right. It's not
And it
like a
happens-
magic
It
pill.
has to be a
Yeah.
daily practice.
Yes.
And
Well,
it's
and
going to happen to all of us.
right.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we're thinking about, the importance of art, the art exercises, music, dancing, movement, because we want to have a better life when we're older, if we get to be older,
Yes.
right? The importance is to take care of ourselves now through these simple practices.
Neuroplasticity, Lolly.
Yeah, that's what we're doing with,
I love it.
with
I love
Tanesha.
it. Tanisha, I love it. Do you want to do the question, Lolly? Because that takes the last
No,
question.
you love to make that question.
I always try somebody else. We
good
always do before the ending with the guests. Well, it's not the end, but it's still we have a 15 more minutes. What would be your message to humanity with everything you're doing, Tanisha? Like if you have to do in one paragraph, write a paragraph of a message. What would that be?
It could be anything. It could be a word.
It's a hard question.
Yeah.
Because there's so many things.
No, it's a beautiful question. I love it so much. Well, I think just related to what I do, again, music is your birthright, art is your birthright. So if you want to make art and be creative, I mean, we're always creative, right? But if you want to be artistically creative, musically creative, just do it. Like, who cares, right? No one's, if someone's judging you, that's their problem, right? It's not your problem. So that would be my main thing. And then just, to just sit with yourself and remember who you really are, right? You're not all
Yeah.
that stuff. You're not a doer, you're a beer. We're not human doers, we're human beings. Right? And so
That's
The
beautiful.
power of now.
Do you want me to pull a card? An angel
Yeah.
card?
yeah.
Okay.
I'm a one.
Oh, that's great. You listen, you choose whichever. Let me see.
Oh, the one on the left.
This
Sorry, sorry. I guess it would be
the yellow or the
Angel
purple?
Answers.
Angel
the yellow.
answers.
The yellow.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, this
Nope.
one.
That one. Yeah.
Okay. So
It always coincides what we were talking about.
okay. So I just kind of go like this and like that. Oops, I have them
And the
the
one
wrong
that
side.
falls.
Wait,
Yes.
hold on. See, I'm terrible at this.
No, you're not.
It's always the one that falls
So,
that it's for our guests.
But
Remember
I
that.
just oh, one just flipped over.
Okay.
This one right here.
So that's it.
That's the one.
Wait.
What
What
is
does
it?
it
We
say?
can't read it.
Okay, hold on. Let me see.
We need glasses for that one.
Oh, big happy changes.
This is for you.
Bring it on.
Big happy changes.
What does that mean? Do you want to
let me-
read it?
Yeah, let me read the little
The little thingy.
it says big positive changes are coming into your life, exclamation mark. You may find yourself on a new career path, entering a new relationship, or moving to a new home or city. Embrace these exciting events, knowing that your angels will be beside you all the way. What you are asking about may require you to take some leaps of faith that seem frightening or beyond your ability. You can do it. Trust that the opportunities before you are meant to bring you happiness. These options would not have presented themselves unless you were ready for them. Release your fears and follow your heart. This is like the most perfect card for you.
Wow.
It's basically just trust and beautiful things will happen. And that's big happy changes. Yay!
I love it. Love it. Love it.
Tanisha's like, let it rain.
Well, I think what you're doing is just amazing, and it's healing our earth. It's healing all the beings on this planet, and I'm glad that you follow your heart and you don't do it because of financial reasons or fame. That you're really, really trusting in the universe, and it's fulfilling. And
She's really into her
aware,
purpose.
you're so aware of this.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's work
you're
from the
following your
heart.
purpose. Yeah.
I mean, it's we work with purpose, and I've been working with purpose in companies, and what I've found is that most people don't know what they don't want. And it's I love it, Tanisha, because you knew what you wanted and you got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. At a young age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And lots of different things in lots of different ways. And I've, the path has been fun and winding and random and not random, but seems random to an outsider.
Risky.
Often.
Mhm.
Risky.
Risky.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Risky. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, risky because you're going into a creative field.
Yeah.
It's always a
Right.
risk.
If I wanted,
Right.
if I wanted just money, I would have stayed in banking.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
boring.
That would have been the route.
That's boring. You're more of a risk taker and you trust. So
True.
so
Yeah.
it's
And now
worth
you're
it.
healing through your art.
Mhm.
Imagine that.
And as we all step into purpose, it's interesting to me because I think, a lot of people look at what's going on in our world as this is bad, right? But when you look at everything from a spiritual perspective, it's all expansion, right? And so this is a really beautiful time actually on the earth because all of these people are remembering who they are and stepping onto their purpose, and that's raising our vibration. And I personally think that in Revelations, when they talk about the new earth and our ascension, that's what's happening. That's the ascension. Is all these people remembering who they are and shifting to the reality that we want.
The new dimension, the fifth dimension. We had a discussion with that today with the gentleman we interviewed, but we need that contrast.
Everything's contrast. There's actually I'm gonna geek out for just a second.
Sure.
So in our brains we have these little motor proteins called kinesin, and they walk along our microtubules in our brains. So they're creating connections in our brains. So as the connections building or being formed, this little protein is like running down to send neurotransmitters across our synapses. It can only go in one direction, and it looks like a little stick figure, but it has little feet and it's like running. But it can only go in one direction. But there's another protein called dynein that wakes up and just starts going the opposite direction. So it's going like this.
Oh.
And then myosin wakes up and just starts randomly sticking to stuff just to make it harder. Right? So this contrast must happen in order for the synapses to even be formed, for these connections to be formed. Right? So it's always happening on every level.
Yeah. Dark and light, love and hate. There's always these the
opposites, the yin and the yang.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.